Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can test ads in 2026 without having to do any guesswork, without having to try lots of different angles that you think might work, and actually be able to predict from the beginning, without doing any testing, which ads are going to convert the best, which angles are going to resonate most with your audience, and figure out exactly how your target customer speaks. Now, this is what 8-9-figure brands are doing, and this is how you can save a lot of time and a lot of money by actually predicting and reverse engineering which angles and hooks are going to get you the best hook rate, the best click-through rate, the best ROAS, and the most amount of revenue. So let's go in and I'll show you our custom scraper that we start off with to find our customers' reviews and their competitors' reviews as well. So to start off with, we use this scraper that we've created inside N8N. So what we have is an automation that's going to pull your reviews from Trustpilot and Amazon, as well as pulling your competitors' reviews from Trustpilot and Amazon. So what we have is we've got these two sheets here. We start off with the sheet. Let's use AG1 as an example brand. You have all of their info over here that we're going to fetch, and then it's going to pull those reviews and generate them in a list, as well as then analyzing those reviews and extracting the top desires, top angles, and providing a fairly in-depth analysis. I'm going to replace the previous brand we were analyzing with AG1. First things first, you get their website. Just copy and paste here. We'll get it without that extra slug at the end. Next, you want to get the ASIN from the Amazon listing. So just search for AG1 on Amazon or your brand. Then you click on this product. When you get on the product page, you're just going to copy and paste the ASIN right there. Next, you want to get the Trustpilot URL. Simply Google AG1 Trustpilot, copy and paste that, and paste it in here. Now this one is ca.trustpilot, so that might be Canada. I might have some issue with my VPN, but obviously make sure you're copying the right location. We've set this to 8 Amazon reviews, 20 Trustpilot reviews on the back end, just for simplicity. But obviously you can set this to any amount of thousands of reviews you need. They're going to tell you how many they've been able to pull, and then they'll generate the top desires. So first things first, they're going to pull in all these reviews. It's going to be for AG1, and you'll see how recent they were. You'll be able to verify that these are relevant current reviews for that product. You'll see all the different texts and the titles. But yeah, where it really gets useful is when they summarize those reviews and extract learnings from it. So Grunz has garnered a strong reputation for being great tasting gummies. That's a fairly clear sort of answer as to what the core pain points are. Some users have raised concerns about pricing and subscription policies, indicating opportunities for improvement in customer experience. So that's a great thing to address. I would say that's more bottom of funnel as well. So people who have, maybe people who've read through reviews or people who've already bought the product, you might want to tell them to something you've changed in your pricing or subscription policy, like a different, notify them of a different price. I wouldn't say that's top of funnel, but then for top of funnel at the beginning, the taste is clearly the best bit. Gut health seems to be the core pain point there as well. Yes, they've mentioned about the subscription model with more flexible cancellation options, develop more affordable pricing strategy to attract budget-conscious customers. Yes, so again, if we know now that it's more premium priced, maybe the client would then lower their price accordingly. Interesting. And so some more feedback from customers who received the product was that the packaging is not eco-friendly. So you might want to send out an email blast to your customers and then say that you've now got more eco-friendly packaging. But so much to gain from this, so many insights, because you can read your reviews individually, but you're not going to be able to stack findings across all of your reviews and find like the most commonly mentioned things across thousands of reviews, unless you've got a lot of time on your hands, obviously. And then you got raw analysis here, and that you maybe want to put that into AI and extract sort of the key learnings, as we've done in this bot. But I'm sure you can go deeper and find even more insights about your customer, what words they're using, and things like that. And we do have other bots that will extract the most commonly mentioned phrases and most commonly mentioned words and pain points, and actually break down a list of what is most commonly talked about amongst your customers. And that's when you really start to understand their language and start to understand why they buy your product and how they speak. And imagine now writing copy in your ads and in your creative, it's going to perform infinitely better because you now know exactly how they speak and how to appeal to them. Next, you do the same for their competitors, and it starts to compile summaries on your competitors, upload that into AI with the right prompt, and now you've really got a picture of how your wider market is speaking, how your wider industry and customer base, what they're lacking from other products. And the reason this is so important is because if you just analyze your existing customers have come from your existing marketing efforts, which means you might sort of trap yourself in an endless feedback loop where maybe you've marketed with one particular angle, so your only customers are people who have bought because of that angle. Maybe like with AG1, if they were a smaller brand and they'd only spoken about gut health in their ads, obviously all their reviews are going to talk about gut health. So analyzing those reviews and getting the word gut health from it is not going to be that insightful. But once you start analyzing hundreds and thousands of reviews amongst your competitors, that's where you really start to understand why people are buying these products. So you want to pick bigger brands, industry leaders. You want to maybe also separately analyze smaller brands, but just be aware that, that might be a case of being in an endless feedback loop of them sort of constantly optimizing for the same angle and never really leaving that. But yeah, you import hundreds of reviews, you can upload these into AI. You've got the summaries here that you can also upload, and that's where you can really get those great insights and start to find patterns of the words that are most commonly mentioned. Like for one supplement brand we worked with, we saw the word finally mentioned the most. So of course now when we're filming UGC, we get our creators to use the word finally. I was finally able to build muscle in the gym. And you do that across many other words, and suddenly your whole copy speaks exactly like your customer speaks. They feel they're being understood. So yeah, next I'll take you through our process, so our desire engineered creative process. Now what I've just shown you is the first part of it, and I'll show you how we then evolve on that once we have found the winning angles. Now of course this is all very informative research, very well-informed research. It's going to give you a very high chance of finding winning angles, but you still never know until you test. So whilst this analyzes thousands of reviews and it's very useful, you're not going to know from day one which angle will perform. And here's how we test it. So first of all, we've covered the research phase and we've built out desires and avatars. So some people might care about gut health, some people might care about clearer skin. Whatever you're selling, you're going to have multiple different desires and avatars that it appeals to. So you're going to build those out. You're going to build out avatars for different stages of the funnel as well. And we then go and we find that deeper emotional driver behind it. So for a supplement brand, you might have, I want to get stronger, I want to build more muscle, I want to recover faster. You then go deeper, you go, I'm embarrassed by my skinny physique, instead of I want to get stronger. What's actually emotionally driving your desire to buy the product. If you want to build more muscle, it's probably that you're frustrated with stalled progress. You've tried building muscle and you failed. Or if you want to recover faster, it could be about being scared of losing strength as you age, for example. So you start building out all these different avatars and testing them. Now, what we use to test them is statics, because statics are quick and cheap to produce versus filming UGC, coordinating creators, etc. You can get your design team to make a static in a couple of hours. And that allows you to test. Not only does it allow you to test these angles quicker, but it also saves you from investing hundreds or thousands of dollars into UGC and other video formats before you know which desire is working best. So we test with statics, find the winning angles, and once you've done that and once you've understood which angles are winning, that's when you invest into the next phase. And what we like to do to take that even a step further is for the statics that are winning and the winning angles, we then create things like listicles, advertorials, and landing pages that speak to those same winning desires. So you imagine you've got an ad that's perfectly captured your audience's pain point and it's speaking to them. Then the customer clicks on the ad and now they've got a landing page speaking to that same pain point. So again and again, you're reinforcing that you understand how they think and you understand their pain points. They're so much more likely to convert once they do reach checkout, because they now, instead of an ad that speaks to them and then they get sent to a generic product page, they've actually been spoken to perfectly from start to finish. And then beyond that phase, obviously upgrading your statics into videos, UGCs, testing different hooks within that desire. That's how you then get to that next level. And you'll see this within ad accounts. I'm sure you'll see this in AG1's ad account. You will probably see the same theme, the same winning themes being hit on time and time again with just different hooks. They often use the same videos. They might have a 3-minute VSL that they're running 20 times, each time with a different hook at the beginning, a different 3 seconds. And that's proof that they are using this method and that they are finding those winning angles and only then investing in new hooks, new creators, and new concepts. So I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions or you want to look at getting this implemented for you or with you, feel free to book a call down below. There will be a link in the description, and we can obviously consult with you, help you to implement this yourself. We offer free deep research reviews where we can do this research for you. We can scrape your reviews and your competitors' reviews and show you on a small initial level what customers are saying about your product, as well as doing an audit on your meta ads and your creative, and showing you what you need to improve in order to get to the sort of levels that AG1 are at and having the same creative strategy that they do. Yeah, that's fully free, no obligation. You can meet with one of our team today. I highly recommend you do that if this is something that you feel would improve your ad account. I'm sure you have lots of questions that we can answer, and it's a very no pressure, no obligation call where we can simply help you, and we want to lead with value. We want to show you what you can do with this method and show you why this works. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and this is what the 8-9 figure brands are currently doing in the e-commerce world. And if you implement this today, there's a very good chance your ads will start seeing a much higher ROAS and a much higher volume. Yeah, all the best.